We're going to cover briefly, with as much emphasis as possible, some really interesting headings. Manifestation, cultivating the witness, surrender, watching what we think, spiritual solutions, higher awareness, shutting down the voice within, freeing the higher self from the ego, and characteristics of the ego, and going from turmoil to peace, love, habits, and then healing words. Manifestation. This is a gift to us from the infinite. You think about it. We as humans in this cosmos, the only creatures can do this. We send out energy into the atmosphere when we think about something in a concentrated form. And it brings it back to us. You think about spiritual consciousness, you will have spiritual consciousness. And to get into the milieu of that, think of serving others daily in some small way as a path to happiness for yourself and for others. Keep your inner energy on what you'd like to manifest, and keep it right at the front of your brain, oftentimes through the day. Bring it up. Then you'll notice magic taking place. Coincidences will happen. They'll show up. It's like controlling serendipity. Serendipity is those wonderful things that happen and we don't know why, and they're all for the benefit of us. And we can kind of control that by using manifestation in a special way. Now that's a big subject, but I've given you just the essence of it. We're going to move on to the next step. Cultivating the witness. Yes, what is the witness? The witness is your awareness inside your mind. Observe life through the witness. That's the secret. Observe it through the witness. Set the witness in his chair, if you will, or his throne, and he says nothing. He's a silent witness. He just watches and he listens without any thoughts of changing things, and it's a precious gift as well from God, this awareness. We use a detached perspective when we're using this technique of the witness. And when we're sitting with a problem, non-judgmentally, using the witness, it allows problems to just kind of move on because of the way we do it. You welcome, you become calm, you become a compassionate witness. It brings peace to your life, and when you're doing the witness, looking at it, you'll also experience your ego in full living color inside, and you'll discover that you are not that ego self. And you could take the first steps towards liberation from the ego. That's a big step. Remember, these are just ideas that are dumbed down to just the very essence, and I'm sure you'll get them. Events continue to happen, but you're no longer identifying with them, so problems just disappear. Wayne Dyer was so excited about this idea that he said this: the active observation is the closest I have ever been able to come to actually experiencing another dimension of reality, unfettered by the constraints of the material world. I mean, Wayne was a guy that studied spiritual practices ever since he was a young man in college and before. And he finally got to this point later in his life. If you do this, you'll slowly emerge as a being who knows that you exist outside of your thoughts, outside of your emotions, and outside of your physical situation. Always remember as well, you are eternal. I want to emphasize that all through this talk. You are eternal. We might think, yeah, okay, we die and there's reincarnation and so forth, so we're probably eternal. But you got to get it right down into your feelings. It's very important, because once you feel that, there's a certain sense of joy in yourself, because you can never die. Look at problems from the viewpoint of the witness. Just observe them. That's the trick. Rather than engage it in confrontation, here's a good trick. Try the witness. True awareness is the state of pure witnessing without any attempt to fix or change what is being witnessed. It's a kind of, I love these three words, non-judgmental, healing love. I try to remember those. Witnessing keeps your life moving in the spiritual quest. And here's the trick. As a witness, you don't identify with what you are watching. And if you don't identify with it, then you could be dispassionate and things start to happen. You're just a passive observer. Learn to observe the world from the perspective of the detached witness means being free of emotions. Emotions are just hindrances to your path. So if you get rid of those, that helps. We'll talk about that a little more. Then the next heading is surrendering. It's not like in a war where you surrender and it's a negative thing. No, this is surrendering to allowing great ideas to be part of your existence. Surrender to not knowing. Surrender to not knowing. You don't know everything. And you can then look to receiving information from your intuition. Surrender to the present moment and accept what is. Go back 100 years or 200 years in Chinese lore. The way it is the way it is. I remember that every day. I keep it right there in my mind because it helps me so much. When things are happening, just say, the way it is the way it is, and it just puts you at peace. You have a personal dilemma? Be humble. Go and say, Heavenly Father, I leave it in your hands, and you'll get help. Having a tumultuous meeting in the corporate world, just excuse yourself and leave the room. And in the quiet, ask God, what is my purpose here? And how may I serve? What is my purpose? How may I serve? And come back and sit in the room, and you'll see that you've got a whole new way of seeing things. What else are we going to surrender to? We're going to surrender to the past. The past. It has no relevance. You can't do anything more with it. It's over. A lot of us live with, stories, war stories from the past. And they influence our life. We think that that's our life. It isn't. Just get off that bandwagon. What drives my life today is the energy of the present moment. And then, what about the future? Guidance will keep you on the path so you can let go of the future. If you start trusting your guidance, you're getting a play from the coach every once in a while to put the boat back. I'm mixing the keep the boat steering in the proper direction. It's just a matter of trust. And somebody said Craig said, open your heart. Yes, open your heart. And you can do that any minute. In the present moment, just appreciate beauty that you see. You see some little children playing and laughing. You see birds flying in a flock, and they go this way and they go that way. Allow the love to circulate to them and then back to you. That's one of the secrets. Get it to come back to you. Because the more of that you get, the more energy you'll receive. So there's one of these disturbances I was telling you about. Yeah, the more you receive, you practice receiving love from your surroundings, the more energy you'll have. And finally, the other big surrender is before you die. Surrender to death. Prepare to surrender by leaving your body behind. It's just like a cloak. And your soul is eternal and immortal. And it goes on forever. All of the great masters of this world have told us that that's true. So how can we just stand here and say, well, maybe it's not? It is true. We are immortal. We go on forever. Isn't that happy? Isn't that happy? You never die. That's a great gift. And thoughts. Thoughts are very important. Catch yourself in moments of gossip and just stop. It's toxic. Don't do that. All thoughts have consequences, even the little tiny ones. So don't let anything go through your mind and out to the universe, because as soon as you do it, it sends waves out and things are happening and you're influencing the rest of the world. Take that responsibility. Don't send those thoughts out. Allow spiritual thoughts and feelings to dominate your life and to help you find God. The next heading is spiritual solutions. And this again is a big subject, but I'm going to just cover it in a few words. Notice the emotional part of problems. Do you remember that? The emotional part. Sadness, anger, pain, fear. See them only as energy and let them go. And then deal with the problem. And simplify your life. Don't go around with a big burden on your back, carrying it around all the time. You won't be as effective. You got too many things, let them go. Share them with others. And avoid catastrophizing. Our family gets together every once in a while and we're talking about a problem that's in the family, and suddenly somebody will pop up and say, hey, we're catastrophizing. And we all stop. We stop doing it. Because it's negative and it doesn't help. What you need instead is choose, this is the big word, choose peace. You can just choose it and you can have peace as soon as you make up your mind that you're going to choose peace. And when you're in that peaceful state all day long, you're more effective and you're more loving and you're on the path and everything works better. And I said, stay in the present moment and banish old beliefs. Here's an example. You may believe, as many people in our society do, that more is better. You see it everywhere. You see it with your friends. You see it on television and everywhere. It leads to a life of striving. Striving denies peace. Just say, every once in a while, say, I pass, and let it go. More isn't better. It just isn't. Higher awareness. This is a big subject, but I'm just going to cover it again in just a very short time. And if you just get this essence, you've got it. That's all you need. Banish doubt. Banish doubt. Our doubts are traitors. Wayne Dyer says, our doubts are traitors. I love that. Beliefs are handed to you. Knowings come from within. So this is what we're interested in, is knowings. When your heart knows something is right, follow that. That'll come from your guidance. Beliefs let you down. Knowings empower you. They have no doubt attached to them. Here's something. Fear may stem from doubts that we have about our divinity. Well, I thought about that for a while. And I don't think that statement kind of really spins around with me too much, because I guess I don't have any doubts with my divinity. And if a person did, I guess that would be important. Fear does stem from that. The cure for fear, of course, is faith. Experiencing fear, here's the solution. It's so simple, and you can use this with many things, not just this. Gently feel it. Just watch it. Just look at it dispassionately. Then let it go. You'll see, it'll just go away. When you know who walks beside you on the way you have chosen, fear is gone anyway. Remember that, when you know who walks with you on the path that you've chosen. Faith is an inner knowing, and it helps give you the capacity to see God in everyone. Eventually, making a decision that you're going to meet God within yourself. Do that sometime in your life. When you get to be my age, you find it's urgent. You guys you're young enough to have more time, but do it as early as you can. Just try to feel the loving presence flowing through you. And if you do try, eventually you will feel that. Consider this. You look at the universe and you see all the planets spinning around and everything just working in a kind of an intelligent way. And you say, well, there must be a God. Must be an intelligent master up there somewhere. You doubt your ability to know that that higher part is inside of yourself. So you have to re-examine your logic here. And if you think it out, you'll realize that it needs to change. Always remember, you are a holy creation. Shutting down the dialogue is the next heading. Practice observing the voice in your head from time to time. Just observe the voice in your head. What's it saying? Just listen to it. It'll give you a chance to practice being the witness, because your witness will do that. You'll want to shut down the internal frenzy, the melodrama making. You'll become aware of your ego. Oh, no question about that. You'll become aware of your ego. Shutting down your inner dialogue will help you to know the presence of God in your life. It brings peace. If you get off track, use your breath to keep your mind from chattering. Also, go back to mindfulness if it keeps up. These are just techniques for meditation, really. Listen to your inner intuition, your guidance. Just listen to it. It's very simple, really. When you get right down to it, these things are not hard. Now, how about freeing the self from the ego? How are we going to do that? Well, first of all, what is the ego? It's nothing more than the idea you have of yourself. It's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Your true self is a wise guide. It walks with you along the path of the spiritual quest. Allow yourself to listen to this wise guide instead of your ego. Just flip it from there to there. Leave the ego out of the whole story. You will hear clear messages of wisdom and know you can be free. Knowing that you can be free of the ego is a big step by itself. Now, if you're not convinced yet, I'm going to read to you the ego characteristics. It's false. It teaches separation from God and everyone else. It convinces you that you are special. It is easily offended. It's a coward. Detached from the self-absorption of the ego. And this gives you authentic freedom. But you can attempt to know your ego. How do you do that? Well, as often as you can, look for these words in your head. I, me, mine. And just don't use them very often. Keep your focus off the ego. Just make up your mind you're going to keep your focus off of it. Do not let it run rampant in your life. You'll just be happier, that's all. To go from turmoil to peace, we can connect with the divine mind and feel peace in any moment. I've told you already how to do that. Just sit, looking as a dispassionate witness. You can be peaceful even while you're busy, even while you're blissful. Try these ideas. Give up needing to be right. That's easy. Don't compare yourself with others. That's easy. Avoid deadlines, avoid bragging and exaggerating. That just puts the milieu correct for that to happen. The next heading is love. We were all created by God. Oh, I guess that means we're all lovable. Notice kindness in others. It makes you to want to have more of the same. Tell others how you feel. It's a very loving thing to do. Abandon living in the past. We've talked about that. You can't change it. Think lovingly, act lovingly. It gets down to those 4 words. Think lovingly and act lovingly. Judgment prevents seeing the good in others. When you see a person, when you meet a person for the first time or a situation or whatever it is, and you put a stamp on it, you put a label on it, you close the door. You can't investigate that anymore. You can't get to know that anymore. But if you keep it open, you keep a blank screen there, and you get to know that person, you'll find out there's dimensions that are way beyond what you first saw. You want that opportunity. Be compassionate, be generous, and stay centered. Allow spiritual thoughts, feelings to dominate your life to help you find God. Here's something I want to remember, and I'm going to put this in with my daily prayers. I know that in the very essence of my being, the way of transforming is love. I know in the very essence of my being that the way of transforming is love. Habits. Habits are very important. Like if you have good habits, they save you a lot of time. You have bad habits, well, witness your body and its cravings, and don't be the craving. When you keep relapsing into bad habits, often, be humble and ask the sacred self to intervene. Try to catch toxic thoughts. This is important. Try to catch a toxic thought, grab it by the tail and pull it out before it gets in, buries in your brain and sows itself there and starts to grow. You have to do it right away. You've got to catch it right in the moment. Otherwise, it'll become, and that craving will get worse and worse. One day at a time, you will achieve transition from toxicity to purity. Isn't that fun? Now, we're coming to the end. Healing words. Rollo May was a great psychiatrist or psychologist. He said the essence of being human is simple. It's being able to love someone, period. Maslow famously said, be independent of the good opinions of others. In other words, don't give a damn what other people think. It's what you feel inside, what your intuition is giving you about things. The messages you're getting right from the coach. When I was down in California at Self-Realization Foundation, I saw a big poster and a scene of a very serene situation, and then under it, it had in big letters, calmness is the living breath of God's immortality in you. At first I couldn't figure out what that meant. Calmness is the living breath of God's immortality in you. I guess he's trying to say you have to be calm before you can really understand that you're an immortal soul. Well, I want to thank you for coming. I probably got more out of this than you did, but I hope you enjoyed it.